Welcome back to an all new live Let's Talk Lions. Thank you for being here. I think we're going to be a little bit more on the shy side today, but hey, I just wanted to show everybody. Check this out. Check out. I found this at Goodwill for 25 bucks. 25 bones for a sweet and the tags were still on it. Now listen, if it gets a little noisy because it is a windbreaker, if that gets a little noisy, a little annoying, please let me know in the chat. I will take it off, but I had to show you guys because 25 bucks at Goodwill, brand new tags on. Too much excitement for me. Thank you everybody for being here. Asan Moore, I see you. What's happening? Nothing, dude, nothing being here. Come on, man. I know that you live in Australia, so this is very, very late for you. Thanks for showing up. Lions fan, one Paulie, Steve DeYoung, Jake Bishop in the house. A very merry morning. You thought I was rocking a polo. No, it's a windbreaker. It's pretty dope, if I may say. Once again, 25 bucks. Thank you everybody for being here on an all new Let's Talk Lions live. It's been a wild morning for me. Just off the Lions track, I have been helping my friends move all morning. So I just got in here probably like 10, 15 minutes ago, poured myself a nice cup of Joe, and we're back at it. Today's live stream will be a little bit shorter so that I can go back over and continue to help them move because that's what you do for friends. Thank you, everybody, for being here. What's happening? Kyle Massey, my man. Alan, Dana, let's go. Big Wes Kivanine. Wow. Excellent. Oh, I see what you're already getting into the questions. That I love. We will get there right off the bat. The first thing that I want to talk about, something that I've been thinking about, is the fact that they obviously, what was it? I think it was Sportsbook choosing to say that the Detroit Lions will land last in the NFL this season. That came out, I think, one day ago. And seeing that, some people asked me, they were like, okay, how do you feel about that? The Lions being projected to only have 5 wins this season, along with the Houston Texans. Us being the 1 and 2, or really 31-32, so top first and second picks in the draft 2022. Now, my initial thoughts looking at that is simply this. I will never advocate to lose. I hate that idea. However, if we are going to be dead last, I'm okay with it being this season, because when I look at this season, I'm not going to be sitting out there watching these games like hoping for W's. That's not really what I'm going to be looking for, because I don't think that's going to be the case. It's really going to be watching and saying, wow, how is this team gelling? How are they molding? How is Aaron Glenn as a defensive coordinator? It's going to be watching the Lions very, very differently this season compared to past seasons. It just is. It's going to be watching for development of players, watching Jared Goff, watching our running backs. Are they able to block for them? It's going to be a different type of season for the Lions. And I think if Lions fans can get that into their heads, that will be key going into this year. This way, it's not you watch a game, we lose, and oh, same old Lions. It's not going to be. It ain't going to be same old Lions. It's going to be a totally new Lions. And so with that, awesome. Good to hear that you can't hear the jacket. That's great. Oh, I even got a little kiss face from it. Isn't that nice? Thank you. Looking at it, well, let's see here. I saw somebody already asked a question off the bat. John Robinson coming in hot and heavy. Hopefully everybody has brought their coffee this morning. I know it's early, 11 a.m. I guess it depends on where you are. He asks, do you think that, also really quick, before I get into this, please let me know in the chat, how is the stream coming through? I just hooked it up via Ethernet, did some tweaking. And again, I was helping a friend move. So I just got in here. Let me know, is everything smooth? Is it sounding good, looking good? I didn't have a lot of time to make sure of those things. So back to the question from Big John Robinson. Do you think once the culture is built and some success on the field, that the Lions might bring in character issue guys, knowing that the culture will straighten them out or exit the door? That is a very opinion forward question. I love it, my man. You know what? I think that from the sounds of Dan Campbell, from the sounds of Brad Holmes, I think that they only want people with solid character. I don't think, even if we're able to straighten this out, get this thing going, it would have to be 3 years down the line, in my own opinion. I don't see us really bringing in people. And some people would immediately say, well, okay, then what about Micah Parsons, right? Character issues. Well, let's talk about Micah Parsons, right? He called out our fullback, right? He called out Kabadina, right? How do you say his name? Let me see. Jason Kabinda. Jason Kabinda. He called him out just the other day, basically being like, yo, you want to, anytime you want to go one-on-one, you want to do some drills together, do some workouts together, I'd be glad to. Calls him out. And what I find interesting here is, to me, it's almost like Micah Parsons kind of knows, hey, I might be going to Detroit, and he's already trying to get his foot in the door with other players. So with that being said, very interesting. Character issues aside, you know what? Down the line, great question. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Look at Kareem Hunt going to Cleveland, and he's been silent ever since. Very, very interesting. All right, let's see here. What else do we got? Ryan Zarzeski. So is it me, or does it look less likely that we get Micah Parsons? It is feeling less likely every day, Ryan and crew, which is hard because you all know that I am very partial, that I like Micah Parsons. However, at the 7th spot, it does feel less likely every day. And that being said, it's because of the rumors that the Lions will be trading down. That came out this week. There was all this talk that the Lions were looking to trade down from the 7th spot. And if that is the case, I think Micah Parsons could end up going to Denver. He could end up going to Dallas. There's many other places that I think Parsons could land before we are able to snag him. Yeah, and you know what? All these, actually, I had a dream last night. It was wild. I had a dream that we drafted Trey Lance. This tells you what I'm obviously thinking about all the time. Literally, my dream was wild. I see Trey Lance run. I don't know. It was the weirdest draft night in the world because my brain created it. But we drafted Trey Lance, and I was unhappy in my dream. There was some yelling. There were maybe some words that were, not okay for the channel. But all in all, wasn't a fan of the draft pick of Trey Lance. But as Steve DeYoung said, rumors are rumors. Rumors are rumors. That is absolutely true. Lee Bender coming in saying, it's not smooth video, but the audio sounds good. All right, well, that's good to know. The Ethernet cord must not be doing what I needed to do. Thank you, Lee, for hooking me up. Man, look at you guys making me feel good. Yeah, you know what? There was a lot of talk about the Lions being the worst team. I was talking about that a little bit earlier in the NFL this season, and I am okay with that. Looking forward to this season as a whole for many other reasons. We had a question come in from Kyle Massey. Who are some realistic trade down partners? I see a lot of people saying Carolina, but they just paid Darnold, maybe Denver. Kyle, excellent question. Thank you for throwing it in there. You know what? I think I put out a video earlier this week and I started looking at it. I think it really comes down to who's in the QB hunt. I mean, Justin Fields just had his second pro day. And the closer we get, I mean, you saw, what's his name? Kyle Shanahan, right? Coach for the 49ers there, talking to Justin Fields, laughing it up, chalking it up. And I know that everybody's like, oh, 49ers are going Mac Jones. I don't know. I could really see them pulling the trigger on Justin Fields. Justin Fields is very talented and would really be an asset to the Niners. And then from there, who are some possible trade down partners? I think it's really going to be New England, Washington, or Denver. Those are my three assumptions, my three guesses for who we would end up trading down with. I think all three of them would be looking for a quarterback. Denver just came out, this past week, the news hit that they were interested in Matt Stafford, or that's something that they wanted. With that being said, I could see Denver trying to bump up 2 spots. And some people might look and be like, oh, well, what's the point if you're only, 7-9? Hey, you're trying to beat out these other teams that are potentially looking to trade up to get to that spot. So those are my guesses would be New England looking for, and specifically with New England, they tried the Cam Newton thing. They tried the whole Cam Newton thing, and it did not take. They obviously signed him for another year. I think you get a guy like Justin Fields who has a similar play style, sit him behind Cam Newton for a year. All in all, not a bad move for New England. Gotta throw it out here. Look at this. Gray Ford finally made it to one of these casts. Gray, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here today for the live stream. Anybody watching this replay, thank you for being here. I know I didn't put out a video, I think Thursday or Friday this week. Honestly, there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough for me to really report on. So don't be dismayed. It's not like things were getting crazy. It just wasn't stuff that I was very interested in that I felt like we needed to talk about. So I figured anything that did transpire, we could talk about today. Let's see here. Lions fan one, Paulie LFP saying, do you believe the Lions are the worst team in the NFL? You know what? That's a tough one. No. I mean, it depends. If you're looking at last year, obviously not. We were the 7th worst. But looking at going into this year, I know the Lions are projected to be last. I think Houston is going to have more problems than us. Looking at our coaching, looking at the staff that we've brought in and the leadership. I think I could see us landing at the second to last place in the NFL this year. Oh, I like this one. Asan Moore asking, trade back with my Washington football team. Asan, hey, God bless you for being a Washington fan. Washington gives up 2 firsts and a 3rd round pick to move up into the 7th in the draft for our future QB. How do you like that? Asan, if you could get on the phone, if you could hop on the horn and talk to whoever you need to talk to make that happen, yeah, I'm in. I am all about the Lions trading back this year. My personal opinion, the way I'm looking at it, from Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah to even getting a guy like Zaven Collins, we move back to 19. I think one of those 2 guys will be available. We address the linebacker position with 2 phenomenal linebackers. Hey, if we could trade back to 19, that's what I would love to do. Really, that is the deepest that I would be willing to go. Yeah, so I love that. I love that. Let's see here. Oh, man. Jake Bishop. All right, Jay. Question about the schedule this coming year. If somebody forced you to put 1K, 1,000 big ones on one game that you think will lose and 1,000 on one you think will win, which games would those be? All right. I'm not going to pick any. I'm not going to pick Green Bay at all because that just seems unfair. Because I mean, they're going to beat us. Though I can make a quick 1,000. Let's look at out of our division. I'm going to go out of our division here. I think with $1,000 on the line, we beat the Atlanta Falcons. $1,000. I would say we beat Atlanta this year. I mean, it's them or the Dirty Birds, them or Philadelphia. But I think that the Detroit Lions do beat the Atlanta Falcons this season. And looking at next year, even though we had a very close one with Atlanta this last year, one game that we will absolutely lose is to the Baltimore Ravens. If I was given $1,000, that is where it would go. Wow. Wolfster 106 dropping in a sweet $5 donation. Wolfster, you're an animal, not just because of your name, but because of the $5 donation. That is extremely sweet. Very kind of you. Thank you for the donation. You're a good man. He says, what name would you like the Washington football team to adopt? You know what? I'm not going to lie. And I think, you know what? I know we got a Washington fan in here. They might disagree with me. I really like the Washington football team. And I know some people look at that and they're like, oh, but it sounds so classy. It sounds old school. It makes me think of like an old baseball team from 1912. And I know we're playing football, but the Washington football team has a great ring. It is a little long. So if I could pick, I think it would have to go. I would want to do something that has to do with the Capitol. Obviously, you got the Capitals, you got the Senators. I feel like it would have to have some sort of semblance to Washington, D.C. I don't know. That's a great question. Because what were some of the ones that were thrown out there? There were the Red Wolves, which is pretty sick. You know what? I'm going with Okay. I know what I'm going with, Wolfster. I would call them the Hogs, Hogs, based on back in, what was that, the 90s? When I think it was the 90s, when the guy from the Buffalo Bills ended up calling them a bunch of pigs and doing the snorting on live air, calling them a bunch of hogs. And then they adopted that name as like a nickname, kind of like how we have One Pride. I would go with the Hogs. I know that has nothing to do with the capital, but it's pretty BA. All right, let's see here. Carl Stroop. Jay, what do you think Brad can milk from another team in terms of picks? I think we could milk at least another pick this year, maybe a third or fourth round, look for some wide receiver depth, and minimally a first year for 2022, especially to some of these teams that are 15 and back. Any of these teams that are from 15 and on, these guys are the ones that are looking to get as high as they can get. They're probably pretty dang good. They're going to be good next year. So they're like, we're not worried about it. We can afford to give up our first round draft pick next year. So I'm thinking at least a third round pick this year and a first round pick come 2022. Charles Fouch, thank you very much. Telling me that the video and audio are great in Arizona. Again, I was helping a friend move this morning. Didn't have a lot of time to set up. Hopped on in here and gave it a go. Great question. You know what? I saw somebody also ask this earlier. They said, if we were to sign Maurice Hurst, and I'm hoping we do, does that point to drafting offense in the first round? Great question. Now, here's the thing about Hurst. I think we're what? We're seventh on the waiver, on the waiver list. So a couple teams would have to pass up on him first. However, if we were to get him, yes, I think that does. I think we end up looking for a more offensive guy. And at that point, Penei Sewell will most likely be there. I think Cincinnati's going to pass on him. I say we just grab Penei Sewell. If we were able to bring in Hurst and we are stuck at 7, Penei Sewell. That's my own opinion, if you will. Let's see here. Hopefully, who agreed about the $1,000 one? Anybody agree that we're going to lose to Baltimore and beat Atlanta? Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll on through these. Ooh, asking the audience, but if I were to get a jersey, who would it be? I mean, I don't know if you're asking me or not. If I were to get a jersey right now, I'm still going for a Matt Prater one. If I have to get a new guy, it's Jamal Williams. That's definitely. Ooh, and Rafiki Gaming coming in. What about the Washington Wild Hogs? I do love that. I think that's great. Wild Hogs. Detroit Lions talk with Micro Mike is in the building. Yo, Micro Mike, thanks for being here. For those of you who do not know Micro Mike, guy puts out great breaking news for the Lions. Go check out his channel, give him a sub. He is awesome. Great content. Always, always. All right. Ooh, Gray Ford. Should the Lions consider Kwity Paye? Absolutely. 100%. 100% Kwity Paye. I think he is to be considered. Okay, hear me out. I think he needs to be considered, specifically if we were to bounce down to the 12 spot. If we go down to the 15 spot, a linebacker's not there that we want. Kwity Paye is an animal and would be phenomenal. I think he'd be a great fit here in Detroit. So I think he should absolutely be considered. It all depends on what's on the board. Now, let me just say this. When it comes to the draft, things are pretty wild right now. And a lot of people keep asking all these questions regarding specific guys. Here's the tough part. We are what, a week and a half, 2 weeks out of the draft. At a certain point, you have looked at every variable, every possibility. And with every one of these possibilities comes 100 other things, variations that happen. And it could be a bit overwhelming. It really can. You start looking, and at a certain point, you have to kind of just take a step back and say, all right. Anything's going to happen. Anything could happen. The night of is going to be a rodeo and kind of strapping in for it. You got to pick the guys that you are interested in, that you would love to see in Honolulu Blue. Pick the guys that you don't want to see in Honolulu Blue and hope for the best. That's pretty much where we are at. Let's see here. think I just Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry about the stream. The video, there's something wrong with the old cord. Definitely having an issue with it. Forgive me for that. I will fix that for next week. Do you trade back if Sewell is on the board at 7 from JMP Productions? Phenomenal question, my man. You know what, man? It's so tough because you look at a guy like Sewell and all that he would offer the Lions. I think the price would have to be right. If Sewell is there at 7, and we know all of a sudden we're getting a first round this year, we're getting maybe a second round next year. I'm sorry, a first round next year, a second round the following year. You really have to be able to look at what the offer is and try to milk it for all it's worth. If Sewell's on the board and you get a fantastic offer from another team, I say you take it. I really do. I think we have to build out for 2022, 2023. And I know some people might look and say, yeah, but Sewell, you could have him for 5, 7, 9 years holding the line, in which case, yeah, it's a phenomenal move. If we are not offered anything with the price being right, you take Sewell. Just my opinion. Will I be live streaming the draft? Yes, I will be live streaming the first night of the draft. I'm actually going to have a couple guys on here, a couple buddies. At some point, I might pop over to the ISN network, hang out with them for a little bit, but we will be live streaming here. Really, it's going to be just like this. All of us watching the stream or watching the draft together. Probably picks 1 through 10 is what I aim to do, unless the Lions trade back. If the Lions trade back to 15, we're going to kick it till 15. We're just going to hang out, do the same thing. I have a couple Buffalo Bills fans, another Lions fan, potentially some other guys from some other teams, all just enjoying the draft. Oh, how far down could Justin Fields go in the draft? Great question from Fazil Iqbal. I don't see Justin Fields making it past, quite frankly, at the lowest he could go. The absolute lowest is 9. I don't think he's even going to get there. I don't. I mean, if Justin Fields is available at 4, I think Atlanta's going to work some magic trade and I think New England would pop up and get that. But I do not see him even making it to 9. That's just the absolute lowest he could go, in my opinion. Drop your thoughts in the chat. What do you guys think? How low could he go? I hate that I used the limbo reference. My bad, everybody. Let's see. Yeah, you know what, Gray Ford, I see that you're saying, we've missed out on a lot of Michigan talent. Detroit doesn't draft those guys for some reason. You're not wrong. We have missed out on some solid Michigan talent. It's kind of interesting, especially with it being just 30 minutes, 45 minutes away from, Detroit. Kind of a fascinating thing to see. Like, oh, okay, we're going to go to Ohio. We'll get this guy from over here. We take a lot of guys from Ohio State. Let's see here. Audio's great. All right. This is good. Good to know. If Sewell is there, we run to the podium, take him at 7. Solid decision. Not a bad move. Run as fast as you can. Let's go. What else do we got? Just kind of looking through some of the questions. All right, here we go from Rafiki Gaming. Do you think Brad Holmes takes pleasure in absolutely plundering other teams for all they're worth? Or do you think he feels a twinge of guilt? Oh, he loves it. He's a modern day pirate in the NFL. He just eats it up. He is basically Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And he loves it. He loves every second of it. And we're his crew, and we love it even more. We're with him till the very end. Gray Ford saying that Justin Fields will not be passing 3. So you're telling me, Gray, you think he's going to San Francisco, which, hey, looking at that footage for anybody who is coming in for the first time today on the live stream, talked about it a little earlier. The footage of Kyle Shanahan talking to Justin Fields was very telling of a connection, a one-on-one. Hey, I like you, you like me, we're jiving. It was there. It was definitely there, and something that, hey, he could easily go at 3, and then Mac Jones is left And I don't think Mac Jones, who's the next people that want him? New England, maybe? Yeah, I'm going to go with you here, Alan. Dana, this could be the best draft in a long time. I think so. I think, there's so much uncertainty. There's so much uncertainty with guys that opted out. Sewell, Slater, these guys that opted out, and you look at a guy, like, what's his name? Oh, man. I'm blanking, but the guy who played 7 games last year, was it Terrace Marshall Jr., who played 7 games with LSU, opts out for the last whatever rest of the season. These guys that you're like, okay, there's so much uncertainty with the players themselves. There's uncertainty with all that COVID brings. It's just uncertainty out the wazoo, kind of like a Dr. Seuss book. You don't know what's going to happen. Anything can happen. And so, with that being said, this could be one of the most fun drafts in a while. And I think with the QBs that are in it, the teams that need QBs, the teams that are in the top 10 that don't need QBs willing to bounce back, it's kind of a fascinating draft. Let's see what else we got here. Will my brother be on the live stream? Yes, he will. He is a Buffalo Bills fan. Great question. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say this too. Greg Ford, you're absolutely right. If Bateman is there at 41, absolutely. I think would be a phenomenal move for the Detroit Lions to snag Bateman. Moving on, do you think our position coaches will stick around longer than a year from CT Turtles? Absolutely, I do. I think that the coaching staff that you see before you is here for the next 3 years. Unless something absolutely awful happens, Dan Campbell picked his guys. He did. He picked them. He said, these are the guys that we are bringing. That's his crew. They are here at least 2021, 2022, and 23. My assumption, they're here for the long haul. And I mean, in football, as a coach, coordinator, 3 years, minimally. Let's go a little further. Trying to keep up on all your guys' comments. You know what was interesting was I started looking at kind of our depth chart. All in all, here's a question. I'll get to the depth chart in just a second. Jonathan Foster asked, over under at 5 wins for the Lions, in the immortal words of Pat McAfee. What are we hammering down on, Jay? Over or under? I'm going to give us over. I think we get 6 wins. I think we might either be at that 5 win mark or we're going to be at 6 wins. I think looking at it, Houston Texans will be the worst team in the NFL. And you know what? Here's the best part. If we are the worst team in the NFL, big deal. We get the number 1 pick overall next year. Let's go. Then we have the Rams. Look, and I think we're going to be picking up another. I do believe the Lions will be trading down, and we will get another first-round draft pick for it. That is my guess. I think we will trade back. We will get somebody else's 2021 first-round draft pick, giving the Lions our first-round draft pick. We're going to be in the top 5 of terrible teams. We will get the Rams, and we will get whatever that third team is. That is my guess. Lions fan, one Paulie, I don't think we're going to get 11 wins, my man. That's, no, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I love that you're believing. But it ain't going to happen. You know what? I was looking at our depth chart all in all, and that was something that I kind of wanted to talk about, was looking at the depth of the Lions. Where do we really need the most help? And specifically looking at our QBs, Goff, Boyle, and Blau. Some people were talking about Carolina probably, or trying to get Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe that was an option. Tyrod Taylor. Right now, I think for the QBs, I mean, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this list. Blau is your worst case scenario. I don't love Blau. I think he didn't really get a great opportunity here in Detroit. Hasn't been trained up well. But when I look at Goff and Boyle, I love that combination. A lot of people will hate that I'm saying this, but I think Jared Goff is going to find success here in Detroit. I really do. I do. I think he was undervalued, underestimated, and Sean McVay just didn't want it to work with him. Yeah, of course, Sean McVay wants to win all the big games, but in the end, if your coach doesn't back you up, if your coach doesn't have your back 100%, how are you gonna lead anything? How are you going to lead your team to a Super Bowl victory without a coach who believes in you fully? McVay didn't believe in him fully. Brad Holmes does. And I think that belief has been pushed into Dan Campbell. And so I think Jared Goff is going to have a good year. Just my opinion. From there, with Tim Boyle sitting behind him, Boyle has not gotten a fair shake. Boyle came up. He was with the Packers. He spent a couple years there. I think he got in at, I want to say 2018. Maybe it was 17. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But Tim Boyle comes in, didn't have a preseason last year. Jordan Love ends up coming up. So he knew, all right, my time in Green Bay is done. Tim Boyle is a great quarterback. Yes, he had some bad days in college, but his preseason gaming here in the NFL with the Packers at training camp, preseason, all of it has showed he has what it takes to be a quarterback. And if it's not going to be with Detroit as a backup, I could see him playing with another team, whether as a backup or even potentially one day a starter. I think he's got the right stuff. Just my own personal opinion. Let's see. Next, you know what? The next thing I was thinking about is the depth chart, looking at our running backs. I mean, let's talk about it. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. That combination right there is absolute beauty. Now, I know there's a third name on that list, one Kerryon Johnson. And you know what? I saw a trade proposal, I think, with Atlanta. Somebody wrote an article and they were like, oh, if we were to end up making a trade and going to Atlanta, going to that 4th spot and Atlanta popping down to 7. If we were to do that, we trade next year a 1st-round draft pick. And I want to say they also said Kerryon Johnson. I actually liked that. I was like, if we were to go up and we were to get rid of Kerryon Johnson in order to move up to the 4th spot, if we were to do that, then it's a great move. But here's the thing. I hate the idea in general. I don't want to move up to 4. Not worth it. Just my own opinion. Yeah, Jimbo G bringing it in. I see at least the Lions winning 8, going 8-8. I could see us winning 11 games or more. Honestly, 11 feels way too steep, especially with the new schedule, everything that's coming in. 8-8 is probably the most. I mean, and actually it would be 8-9 because there's 17 games. So we would still have a losing record, quite frankly. But yeah, you know what? Back to the depth chart, looking at the Swift-Williams combination. I love this. A lot of people have brought up, Harris being like, oh, like, what about him? What, potential? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But we signed Jamal Williams for 2 years. I don't see us drafting a running back. If we do this year, it's going to be late. It's going to be very, very late. I'm talking day 3. Yeah, so I really love our running back situation. I love the room. Between Swift and Williams, I don't even think one of them is just a 3-down back. You guys hear that? There's a cement quarry down the street, and every once in a while they hit. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. I hate the cement quarry. Moving on, looking at the wide receiver depth chart. Just going to be honest with you guys. We're only going to be streaming for a little while longer, maybe another 5-ish minutes, because I got friends moving in, and I want to go help them get all their stuff into their home. So let's keep it going here. Let's look at it. Yeah, I want to talk about wide receivers, which somebody even brings up Antonio Brown. Hey, he's a free agent. Would you want him? Absolutely not. First of all, I don't want him, nor would our coaching staff want to bring such a poison into the locker room. Not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. Yeah, but looking at Williams, Perriman, Cephas, Allison, Ratley, Raymond, and there's more. Our wide receiver core is a fast, very, very fast core. Separation is there. I think it would be amazing to get another dynamic player and another wide receiver in there, but we're looking at 3rd round or later. Here we go. Oh, let's see there. I'm clicking the wrong one. CT Turtles. What are the expectations of Aruwar and Akuda? Looking at them in the pairing between the two, quite frankly, I do expect a lot. Jeff Okudah was hurt last year. He had a groin injury. And with that, you can only play so good. Not to mention, there was no preseason. Boy was just shoved in there and said, hey, go play. You were a number 3 pick. And so I think there was the mental issue of, okay, I was the number 1 overall for the Lions, 3rd overall in the draft. I got to play like it. You go into the NFL. The speed is different. And Aaron Rodgers absolutely slices and dices you on national television. Not a good time. Not a good time for the old self-esteem, one could say. And so when I look at it, I expect a lot out of Okuda. I really do think that he can live up to the potential of being the draft pick he is, but really just saying, I'm here to play. Aaron Glenn comes in, teaches him, is able to learn as much as he can. I expect big things from these guys. If not this year, very much next year. The all in all, between the two of them, looking at our cornerbacks, man, and now with the pickups, I look at us and yeah, you know what? This year's not going to be a beautiful year. As I talked about earlier, if you guys are sitting down on Sundays saying, man, I hope we win today, I think you got to start readjusting your minds. Just my own personal opinion. At least that's how I'm going into it. I'm not going to sit down on Sunday being like, man, I can't wait to win this game. I'm going to sit down and watch and say, okay, who is going to grow? Where are we going to find the positivity of the guys brought in under these coaches? What are the coaches doing that is changing the culture of the Detroit Lions? That's what we're really watching this year. I think it's a 5, 6, 7 win season. Those wins are going to feel good. But all in all, we're not going to be a good team. We're not going to be a good team because there's going to be so much development. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, I think he is going to like playing for Glenn. Absolutely. I think absolutely. He was playing for Corey Unlin last year and Matt Patricia. Nobody wanted to play for the Lions specifically because of the coaching staff. You look at the moment Bevel got in there, people gave it their best. People gave it all they had. And it changed. It changed. The culture changed. So, yeah, you know what? And yeah, you're right, John Robinson. Slay had a rough first year too. These guys come in college versus NFL so often. We look at these guys during the draft, we get them, and we're like, yeah, they're going to be phenomenal. The speed of the NFL is so much more fast paced. Everything is bigger, better, brighter, harder, all of it, all of it. And so to expect these guys to get in there and just be the best that they're expected to be, I don't think it's quite fair. And if you do get guys that pop off in the first year in the rookie season, it's phenomenal. It's a beautiful thing. But to expect it of them, I don't. Just personally, I don't. Wow, we got somebody in here from Hawaii. A very good morning. How is everybody doing today? For those of you who are watching this on replay, thank you for being here today. If you missed it, I got this jacket for $25 at Goodwill. Brand new, tags on. That's right. That's right. It was a one. I hustled it so hard. Well, quite frankly, let's see here. That's pretty much all that I have for you guys today because I am going to go over and continue to help my friends move their apartment. With that being said, I want to thank you all for being here for another Q&A session, a live stream. This was fun. I'm sorry that the stream was not as beautiful as it should have been. I know I am having some issues with the internet, with the Ethernet. So I do want to thank you all for liking this video, for commenting. If you guys are in the replay, dropping your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? All in all, I am excited for the draft. It's coming here so quickly. Next week, we'll get some more videos out there. Keep talking Lions because that's what we do here. We have a good time and we talk some Lions. On another note, I have a campaign to also prep for. Got a lot going on in my life. And if you're like, a campaign for what? Come on, man. Got to go slay some goblins. It's going to be a good time. All in all, everybody, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. Kyle Massey, Fazil Iqbal, Gray Ford, Big West Kiven, CT Turtles, and everybody else that was here. Lions fan, Paulie, appreciate you all. I really do appreciate you all. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I look forward to creating more content for you coming up here real soon. So until next time, I will catch you all later on Let's Talk Lions.